Okay, on this video, we're going to go from scratch. We're going to blank out everything in the tool in the green cells. Again, we're not going to delete any rows or columns. We're just going to take every green cell and blank it out. We'll just work our way down the option sheet and blank out each of the tables. Doing this one here. And you can see that on the bottom, we filled in defaults. When you don't put any information or when you blank out the information above, all of these defaults get filled in. We can do the same on the holidays tab. There would be no holidays. I'll just leave those. We can take the names of the people, the roles and everybody, restrictions, just blank all that out. All right, so we've gone totally to scratch. This has already been blanked out. And now if we look at the schedule, it's still creating a schedule. Why? Because it picks some defaults. There's 10 people involved. We don't have any names for them. We blanked all that out, but it did schedule 10 IDs. And if we look at all of the other tabs, you can see it chose 2 office locations, main, shift 1, staff person number 1, staff person number 2. These are just the defaults it came up with. It's still doing 3 months of scheduling. There's no names to fill in. The numbers have been assigned, but again, there's no names assigned to those numbers. There's no restrictions for anybody. There's no names to put on the calendar. So the name sheet becomes kind of important because we want to work with people names instead of numbers, but all the rest of the logic in the program has worked and things have been assigned. Okay, so that's cool. We can go back to the options tab and let's fill some in. So we really don't need to fill this in. It's already come up with essentially what's in example 1 here. Context of a business, 10 people, scheduled to be working, office locations, during shifts, satisfying roles. All right, that's cool. We'll stay with that. Let's just fill in a value here, even though the default's 10. Yeah, that's it. Let's put 5 people in here. Okay. I'll stick with the begin and end schedule defaults, which are 3 months. I want to schedule by days. I just pick that. It's either days or weeks. Schedule by days. By default, Saturday and Sunday would be off, but I'm going to just hard code it. Monday's a work day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are not work days. Restrictions, I'll just leave that alone for now. I'll leave the method alone for now. Roles, there's going to be a default role of staff that gets created, but I'll just call it associate for kicks. And I don't really need to fill in a description. I'm going to cover Max same day in another video, but let's just leave one role called associate. Everybody's an associate. When are they going to be working? Well, we only have a 8 to 5 kind of operating environment, so I'll just call it 8 to 5. Starts at 0800 and lasts for 8 hours. Okay, where? Let's say I only have one office. I happen to call it the Kingston office. And I only defined one shift, 8 to 5, so that's all I can pick. And I only defined one role, associate, so that's all that's available here. So my task here is how many associates need to be working on this 8 to 5 shift in the Kingston office. And I only have 5 people total, so I'll say 3 of those 5 need to be working there. And I guess if I had tried to put, let's see if it actually works, 6, it says no, you only got 5 people, so can't put 6. So we'll stick with 3. Okay, and what do I want to display on the calendar? Well, there's really only one choice, the Kingston office, the 8 to 5 shift. That'll be what I display on the calendar. That's cool. I filled out everything I can on the options tab. I can go back. Holidays are still filled in. I can give people names. Bob's number 1, Sally's number 2, Janie's number 3, Hank's number 4, Tom's number 5. I won't put any schedule restrictions for now, and I'll leave their roles blank, which means they will become associates, which is the default role. Remember, the first role in this table is the default role called associate. So now I can go back and look and see what kind of schedule was assigned. Here's everything. It's got a name plopped in there. I can look at the IDs. I can look at the names. I can look at the grid. And you can see I've only asked for 3 people out of the 5 to be assigned every day, and it's kind of jumped around a little bit. Kind of a semi-random approach. Now this is where you can start going back and forth to the options tab and playing with stuff. So one of the options here is called method, and I can pick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and these I'll get into in another video. They're sports related, but let me just pick method number 1. Okay, what did that do? So I can go back to the full grid, and you can see what it's done is it's kind of skipped. I mean, the next person in line gets chosen, essentially. A pattern that looks squiggly like this, and you can say, let me try number 2. And go back to that full grid. And so I try to assign 2 people, skip 1, 2 people. With 5 people, this I might need to up this a little bit. Let me put 10 people in there. And let me give some more names here. Name 6, name 7, name 8, name 9, and name 10. And let me look over here. Okay, so this one, we had the method set to, I believe it was 2. And so every time we assign a person, we skip 2 people until we pick the next person. Skip 2 people, and we only needed 3 people each day, so you can kind of see we're skipping 2 people each time, but we're not, because we have 10 people, we're trying not to assign the same people each week. So we chose 4, 6, and 8 on this first week. We chose 2 and 4, so 4's been chosen twice. We didn't want to choose 6 again, 8 again. We ended up choosing 10. Right? And then we went to 5, or number 6 was chosen again, and number 8 was chosen again, number 10. So now, after 3 weeks, I think everybody but number 2 has been assigned twice. And there's a default that got chosen here of max assigned 2. So no one person can be assigned more than 2 times until we get everybody assigned at least 2 times. So hopefully that made sense. So again, we're looking at 10 different people. Within the first 3 weeks, no person has been chosen more than twice. And that's why we chose this number 2 person as the first one here. Okay, and so we're just spreading out as much as we can, not giving anybody more than 2 chances here. And we can go back and try a slightly different one. Let's go to skip 5, for example. Different pattern. So you get to play around with that. All that means is we're choosing a slightly different mixture of people each time around. But as soon as we start throwing schedule restrictions in here, then whatever our normal choices would have been might be dismissed because there's a scheduling restriction. Okay, so that's going from scratch, just building up, playing around a little bit. And I'm going to leave this video right there. And